The top 5 reasons why Americans are moving to Paraguay in 2024. Make sure you stay until the end of the video to not miss out on the bonus tip. So the first reason why Americans are moving to Paraguay is because they want more peace of mind. Coming from America, a very regulated environment, you will find a lot of peace of mind in a place like Paraguay. Let me explain to you why I'm saying this. Paraguay remains very unregulated in many cases. For instance, alcohol consumption in public is not a big deal in Paraguay. In fact, it happens everywhere all the time. In America, alcohol consumption in public is a big deal. You can get fined and who knows what else might happen. In Paraguay, you can be sure that if you decide to open up a can of beer publicly, that you will not be penalized for that. Okay, let me give you another example. Let's say you want to approach a woman in Paraguay and you're coming from America believing that, well, you have to be very careful about who you talk to and where you talk to that person. In America, sexual harassment is a big deal. Even if you didn't do anything wrong, there's always the chance that the girl might ring up the cops and report you. This is something that is very common in America, but this is very unheard of in a place like Paraguay. In Paraguay, you can go to many public places and just start a conversation. Of course, it's really important that you're mindful about the situation, and it's also important that you make sure that you only do it if and when the person is ready to talk to you. This goes without saying. So you shouldn't come across as a creep no matter where you're located, and this also includes Paraguay. Another example is when you meet a kid and you just want to be friendly with the kid. You say, "Hi, how you doing?" Or you want to give the kid a fist pump, okay, no problem, or a high five, whatever. In Paraguay, you can do this easily. In America, this can be a big deal. You can do it when the parents are around and if the parents are okay with you doing it. Even if it's something very trivial like a high five, right? In America, you have to be very worried and also very mindful about these little details because, again, you can get sued. Of course, the peace of mind also expands into different areas, and there are tons of other examples that I could give you in this video. But let's move on to reason number 2, why Americans are moving to Paraguay, which is the time zone. This is again something really important because if you are working, if your clients are located in North America and you want to be as close to your original time zone as possible, then Paraguay is a good place for that. Like Paraguay is usually 2 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time, which makes it quite easy to adjust. It's not like you're moving to Europe or Asia where you have to completely rearrange your schedule. In Paraguay, you don't need to do that as much. Reason number 3, Americans are looking to date traditional conservative women, and there are plenty of them in Paraguay. Now, if you're coming from America's dating culture where it's really difficult to date a woman unless you look like Brad Pitt or Leonardo DiCaprio, it might be a little bit hard for you to find an attractive girlfriend in America. I'm not saying that it ain't gonna happen, but your chances are just much slimmer than if you were to go to a place like Paraguay. And this doesn't just apply to looks, okay? We're talking about everything here. Just having a look now at what we pointed out at the beginning of this reason, which is finding a woman who is of conservative values, a woman who values family life, and a woman who wants to have a family with you, who wants to build a family, wants to have children with you. Guess what? In Paraguay, this is very feasible. Technically speaking, Paraguay is located in the Western Hemisphere. However, from a mentality perspective, Paraguay is not the Western Hemisphere because women in Paraguay still have very traditional family values. They want to have children. Like, I'm working with many people from Paraguay and they have 2, 3 children, and you know what they're telling me? I want more children. And this is great news. Like, if you've been in a relationship with someone and you've been frustrated because that person does not want to have children with you, for whatever reason, maybe the living costs are too high or because they want to be, a modern woman, they don't want to raise a family because they think they don't have time or they just don't want to do it for whatever other reason, then guess what? In Paraguay, you will find plenty of conservative, traditional women who are waiting for someone like you. Make sure you stay until the end of the video to not miss out on our bonus tip. 4, land ownership. This is a big one. This is the kind of thing that a lot of people are not paying attention to. They're moving to a country without knowing about the legal situation. This is huge. If you want to establish yourself in a country, guess what? You want to be able to own land. You want to be able to own companies. You want to have permanent residency with a path to citizenship. Paraguay allows foreigners to own land. You can own commercial land. You can own farmland. You can own the land your house is built on. Paraguay is a great place price for that. And to sweeten the deal, you can find amazing prices in Paraguay. I'm not kidding you. You can buy a hectare of land for as little as $800. It's very possible. The closer you get to the city, the more you'll end up paying for a hectare of land. It's just how it is. But it will still be much cheaper than in many other countries. And many of the clients that we're talking to that are living in Asia, they've told us that, wow, I never thought that I could own land in a foreign country. Well, guess what? It's possible in Paraguay. 5, cultural assimilation. This is another huge one. This is often neglected. People aren't paying attention to this. It doesn't matter. When they first get to a country, they're in the honeymoon stage, where they only see the tropical beaches or where they only see the dating scene. I'm just making examples here, but as soon as you have spent, I would say at least 6 to 12 months in the country, reality kicks in and you're like, holy cow, there are more things to life than what I previously thought. And this is the time when people realize that I want to be in a place where I can assimilate with the locals. This is important. Cultural assimilation is a very neglected factor when moving abroad, but it's as important as anything that we're discussing in today's video. You want to be able to be in a place where you can easily communicate with the locals, and so I personally believe that language skill is one of the #1 skills that you can have when living abroad. So what I want to point out here is that it's much easier for you to learn Spanish than Chinese, than Arabic. You can try it. Go ahead. I did. I know what's easier. For me personally, I know what's easier. But if you feel like, oh, it's easier for you to learn Arabic and Chinese than Spanish, go ahead and do it. Just consider this fact, because if you want to establish yourself in a foreign country and you want to fully integrate, then the barrier of entry, depending on where the bar is placed, will play a big role. Trust me about this one. It is time for the bonus tip. What we're talking about here is the cost of living. The cost of living in Paraguay is substantially lower than in America. If you're coming from America, wow, you were like, holy cow, I never thought that I could save 70% on rent each month. In Paraguay, this is very possible. And what's also great about Paraguay, let's say you want to rent an apartment in Assimilation, Paraguay, you can find a lot of new condominiums, and very often you find a deal where you're the first person to move into the apartment. I mean, this is very common. You get great deals, low prices, and you get to live in a brand new apartment, like I said, for little money. So this is fantastic. And this doesn't just apply to renting, okay? This applies to food. Food is very affordable in Paraguay. Then services are a lot cheaper. Let's say you want to get a manicure done. In America, you can pay as much as $50 for a manicure, depending on where you're located. You might find a place, or you might live in a city where you can get it done for maybe 20 to 30 bucks. That's possible, but you're probably not gonna get it any cheaper than that. In Paraguay, you can get a pedicure done for as little as 5 to 10 bucks. And so this is very convenient if you just want to go out and you want to relax and you want to have access to good service. It costs you a little money. You can do that in Paraguay. Or let's say you want to get a massage. A 1-hour massage in many cities across the United States of America usually costs you 60 to 80 bucks. In Paraguay, you can get a massage for as little as $15 to $20 an hour. You see the kind of money you can save by moving to Paraguay? You get a lot more bang for the buck in Paraguay than America. All right, let me throw in another bonus tip. If you don't want to live in America anymore, and people have their unique reasons, some people don't want to live in America because they believe it's too materialistic. Others think there's too much wokeism these days. Whatever your reason for leaving America might be, in Paraguay, things work very differently. You can find a lot of communities that are very family oriented, and this is fantastic. Kids in Paraguay, they value traditional things like playing outdoors. This is what a lot of American families want these days, because these trivial things that people and kids used to do decades ago, they don't exist anymore in America. But if you go to a place like Paraguay or any other country in Latin America that is not super westernized, Americanized, you will find a lot of places where this is very common. It feels like you're living back in time, and this is cool, right? It's a laid back place. Now it is time for you to tell us why you're looking to leave America for Paraguay. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you need any help with obtaining a residence permit in Paraguay, please feel free to reach out to us. We appreciate you. Thank you very much for watching, and we see you on the next video.